realize I'm a little tardy this morning, right? Not going to make a gang of excuses because I'm one of the types are not into excuses. But here's the deal, right? Today is January 31st, and there is boxing, and huge boxing, particularly today, right? Um, there is multiple fights to be considered today, right? Now, I actually didn't get all the info on um, one of the fights, right? That was being featured today, right? But like I said, there are a lot of fights featured today, and I'm not going to get into being unprepared and trying to work my way through an event that's happening today without the necessary information to be prompt and efficient, right? You know what I mean? We try to be efficient, right? There's no need to come online with information that isn't actually complete. You know what I mean? It would be a waste of your time and a waste of my time to get on here and start rambling. You know what I mean? So let's be professional about this. But we do have boxing. Actually, I think boxing at its finest in the year of 2026, right? To me, this particular fight is one of the what has been dubbed as a super fight, right, of 2026, the first one. And so that is the one that we are paying particular attention to, the details associated with this fight. But we ought to first give a huge shout out to Turkey Al Sheik. Turkey Al Sheik has came on the scene and made boxing a better place for those that are in love with boxing as I am, right? I mean, it was a time when I actually considered, right, not being bothered with boxing. I mean, and that's making a huge statement for me, right? Boxing has been a part of my life for over 40 years, right? I boxed, I followed boxing, right? And to make things um, worse, right? There was those in boxing that took advantage of boxing, right? Primarily for the sole purposes of gaining um, monetary gains, let me say, right? And I mean, that's okay because we live in a system that prides itself on being the biggest capitalist a person can be, right? And so that doesn't negate the promoters are those in boxing from chasing that dream. Nothing wrong with that, right? But when you get to the point where money is the only thing that motivates you to get up in the morning and do your job, then you got a problem, right? Especially when it comes to boxing. And I want to say this again, shout out to Turkey Alashi for putting us in a position where we can turn that page and get back to some matchmaking boxing, right? Like the fight we have today is what I consider a dynamite match made event for boxing. You know what I mean? And again, shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh for doing something that I don't want to say it was solely for the purposes of the money, right? I'm not speaking in terms of Turkey Al Sheikh. I'm speaking in terms of those that had the best interest as far as they were concerned of boxers at their disposal, right? And I'm speaking in terms of the promoters. The promoters play a major role in whether we get good fights or not, right? It is the promoter who actually picks the fight, puts them in the hands of the boxers, and lets them do what they're supposed to do, right? But if you don't have good fighters matched up with good fighters, you're not going to have good boxing, period, right? So, again, Turkey Al-Sheikh, bless his heart, right, is to be commended by Jack Daniels of the Boxing Training Channel for stepping in and making boxing great again, right? So, look, Yesterday I did the Pro Bowl on uh, Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz, right? That is a part of the undercard. But the undercard is a huge undercard, right? I mean, how could it not be a huge undercard when you have a prolific main event, right? One of the, again, the best main events thus far of the year, right? And that's quite natural. We're just in the first month of the year, and who knows with Turkey Al-Sheikh at the helm of what boxing is going to be, what boxing is going to bring to us for the rest of the year, right? I mean, there's a lot of chatter about great events, right? People, right, have to respect the fact that Turkey Al-Sheikh is bringing to the table the necessary elements, right, to put people face to face in a ring, right? When other promoters, right, was basically being changey, right, excuse me, with the purses, right, with paying off boxers, right, and not putting the boxers in a position where either they made this money or they didn't. And the majority of them, before Turkey Al-Sheikh came along, they didn't, right? They sat it out, did a whole bunch of things in the negative scheme as far as I'm concerned. Boxing, because I'm a boxer, man. I believe in getting in the ring with whoever challenges me, right? When I boxed, right, I was like those in the 80s, right? The Roberto Duran, the Sugar Ray Leonard, right? I mean, come on, man, you know, right? I was one of those types, right? If you call me out, I'm coming. I am like, in the new era, the Devin Haney's. The Devin Haney, well, I don't want to say Devin Haney's because there isn't anybody in this era like Devin Haney. Devin Haney will fight anybody. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what boxing is really all about, right? The challenge. You know what I mean? To put yourself in a position, right, that if a person challenges you, you're going to accept the challenge, get your butt in the gym, right, and find an answer to that particular challenge, right? I mean, working out, doing the things necessary to sharpen your tools. It's about sharpening your tools when you get ready to get in the ring to do a great fight. It's about sharpening your tools, man. I'm talking about, man, being in a position, right, where you catching and you slipping and you pivoting, you're doing everything excellent, as close as you can get to excellent. Only the creator performs excellently, right? But the fact of the matter is that this is what great boxers do. They perfect their craft to be able to get in the ring and defeat their opponent. I'm speaking of great boxers. I'm not speaking of cats that get in the ring or get in the ring and box right and come up with a championship belt and simply throw it over their shoulder and harbor it. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm going to do a video about that one day, man, because I get so sick of these champions, right? They get the belt and find exit strategies instead of going to the ring. They find exit strategies to walk away from the ring, right? I'm saying, hey, look. But again, shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh, because at the end of the day, those cats either gonna crap or get off the pot, because the money is so well proportioned in how they're being paid for their services rendered, right? I just can't see how they're going to be able to deny it. Here's the case in chief. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Now, we have two different boxers in two different weight classes, right? Teofimo Lopez is the super lightweight champion of the world, WBO. Shakur Stevenson is the multi-divisional champion in the lower weight class, featherweight, super featherweight, and currently the WBA lightweight champion of the world. So you have two different divisions fighting in the same division, right? Core smaller, right? Teofimo Lopez is obviously bigger, right? But that makes a difference as far as being able to direct your opponent where you want him to go, right? Because you're leaning on him, you're pushing him, right? He's stronger, he's bigger. The body is going to adjust to that. You know what I'm saying? So let's be perfectly clear about this, right? This fight is a great fight. It's a great fight, but it never would have gotten made. Shout out to Turkey Out Sheep if it wouldn't have been for Turkey Out Sheep. You know what I mean? So let's be perfectly clear about boxing when it comes to the turkey. The turkey makes things happen, man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, how can you not love turkey? That is if you love boxing, right? Let's get to the undercard, right? Now, that Turkey Out Sheep. This undercard is prolific. It's prolific. It's huge. It has talent on top of talent. I did Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz yesterday, right? But today, let's start it off with Bruce Shoo Shoo Carrington versus Carlos Castro, right? This is for the WBC interim featherweight championship of the world, right? Great boxing, right? From a great character in Shoo Shoo Carrington, right? Versus Carlos Castro. Shoo Shoo is 28 years of age. He's 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's a right-handed, 16 wins, dang, 9 by knockout, no losses, never been stopped, no draw. His opponent, Carlos Castro, is 31 years of age. He's 5'7" with a 70.1-inch arm reach. He's also a right-hander. 30 wins, 14 by knockout, 3 losses. Once he's been stopped in those 3 losses, no draws, right? Now, Shoo Shoo is hell bent on, and that's what you love about these cats when they sticking for greatness, right? Shoo Shoo is hell bent on becoming a world champion. This is a stepping stone to that position, to become a world champion. Who knows? He might even reach up and be strong enough and determined enough to be undisputed. That's on the table as well, right? So I'm just saying that to say that this makes for a good fight. It makes for a good fight. You know what I mean? I don't know very much about Carlos Castro, right? But I do know he has 3 losses, right? And Shoo Shoo stands the chance of potentially putting this dude to sleep. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it at that and move on. Jarrell, I don't know if he's considered Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Kingsley Ibar, right? Ibar is from an African nation, Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, right? Miller is 37 years of age. He's 6'4" with a 78-inch arm reach. He's a right-hander. 26 wins, 22 by knockout. That's pretty damn good. 1 loss, and that loss he was stopped, and 2 draws. His opponent, Kingsley Ibar, is 32 years of age. He's also 6'4" with a 79-inch arm reach. He's a right-handed. 16 wins, 14 by knockout. 2 losses, never been stopped, 1 draw. Look, man, this is a heavyweight division, right? You know what I mean? And these fights are being mixed up fairly well in reference to the talent, right? The divisions, right? So these types of fights, these type of promotions, right, are put on exquisitely for the boxing fans, the hardcore boxing fans that need a taste of different divisions, right? Weight division, right, in order to draw the interest. That's brilliant thinking, right? You know what I mean? The whole thing about Turkey Out Sheep is brilliant to me as a lover of boxing. You know what I mean? So we also have. I'm not saying that I'm doing basically the I did the main event, which was of course Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, right? But I'm saying these are the events following, no, excuse me, before the main event, right? And all of them are good fights. Austin Williams versus uh, Wendy Toussaint. These are men. These are men, right? Super middleweight. Williams is 29 years of age. He's 5'11" with a 78-inch arm reach. He's a southpaw. 19 wins, 13 by knockout. One loss. He was stopped when he took that loss. No draw. His opponent, Wendy Toussaint, 33 years of age. He's 5'10" with a 70.9-inch arm reach. He's a right-hander. 17 wins, 7 by knockout, 3 losses. He was stopped once. These are some damn good fights, man, right? And that's not to mention the rest of the card. I'm quite sure there is a unmentioned body of events that will be placed before the audience when the show starts, right? I'm just bringing up the main events and the undercards, right? And I need to do that to be a good boxing analyst, right? To be thorough as I possibly can be. Now listen, before you guys run up out here, hit that subscription button, buddy. You know what? It don't cost a dime. Hit that subscription button. I love y'all. Shout out to the chat. My man, Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Man, y'all need to come, check out Bruce, man. Bruce is in the entertainment, right? And y'all need to check him out. Go to his website and check him out. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Shout out to Bruce. Y'all, hit that subscription button, hit the like button. Who do y'all have today? Leave a comment in the comment section and give me y'all's opinion on Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Whew. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know who do you guys have. That being said, it's a beautiful day. I'm gone.